My name is Rachel Morrison, and for 28 years, I've been the family embarrassment. My older sister Victoria, 32, immaculate, successful, has been the golden standard against which I've always been measured and found lacking. "Why can't you be more like your sister?" became my mother's favorite refrain around age 12. Victoria graduated summa cum laude from Stanford. I went to community college and finished online. Victoria married a corporate attorney at 26 in a ceremony that cost more than most people's houses. I'm still single at 28. Victoria built a successful property management company. I work from home doing something with computers. That's how my family describes it when forced to acknowledge my existence at all. The truth? I'm a senior cybersecurity consultant for 3 Fortune 500 companies and 2 government contractors. My NDAs are so extensive I can't discuss 90% of what I do. My family interprets my silence as failure. But none of that matters to them. Victoria is visible success. I'm invisible disappointment. Our grandmother, Dorothy Morrison, saw things differently. Grandma Dorothy was a force of nature, a woman who'd built her own real estate empire in the 1970s when banks wouldn't give women business loans without male co-signers. She'd forged signatures, bent rules, and built a portfolio of 17 properties across Colorado and Arizona before anyone realized what she'd accomplished. "The world underestimates quiet women," she told me once when I was 16. Let them. Underestimation is the most powerful strategic advantage you'll ever have. I was the one who visited her every week during her final years. Not Victoria, despite living only 15 minutes away. Not my parents, despite their constant proclamations of devotion. Just me. Every Sunday. We'd play chess, drink tea, and talk about real estate strategies and investment portfolios. "Your sister is loud success," Grandma told me 6 months before she died. Impressive from a distance. But you, Rachel, you're the kind of success that compounds. Quiet. Strategic. Unshakable. 3 weeks before she passed, Grandma called me to her attorney's office. "I'm transferring 7 properties to you," she said, sliding documents across the desk. "Not in the will. Direct deed transfers. Recorded with the county today." I stared at the paperwork. 7 prime rental properties in Boulder and Scottsdale. Combined value, approximately $4.8 million. "Grandma, I can't." "You can and you will," she interrupted. "But here's the condition, you tell no one. Not your parents. Not your sister. No one. Let them think everything goes through the will. Let them think they know what's coming." "Why?" Her eyes glinted with something between mischief and steel. "Because I want to see what they do when they think you're getting nothing. I want you to see who they really are when they think there are no consequences." She squeezed my hand. "And Rachel? Your sister has been stealing from these properties for 4 years. I have documentation. When the time is right, you'll know what to do with it." Grandma died 2 weeks later, in March 2019. The 7 properties became legally mine that same month, though no one knew it except me, Grandma's attorney, and the county recorder's office. The will reading was theatrical. Grandma left her remaining 10 properties to be divided among her grandchildren, deliberately vague language that set off exactly the family drama she'd anticipated. Victoria immediately declared herself the primary beneficiary. "I'm the one who built a career in property management. Obviously, Grandma intended these for me." My parents nodded approvingly. I said nothing. For the next 5 years, I watched. I listened. I documented. Victoria took control of Grandma's 10 remaining properties, claiming she was managing them for the family until the estate was settled. She collected rents, handled maintenance, made decisions. She also embezzled $340,000. I know because I hired a forensic accountant to audit every transaction. Inflated maintenance costs. Fake contractor invoices. Personal purchases coded as business expenses. Rent payments that mysteriously disappeared. Victoria was careful. Professional. Almost untraceable. Almost. Meanwhile, my own 7 properties, the ones actually deeded to me, generated steady income. $18,400 per month in rent. I reinvested everything, stayed quiet, and built my consulting business into something generating mid-6 figures annually. I also did something else. Victoria's property management company started experiencing financial difficulties in 2021. Cash flow problems. She mentioned it casually at Christmas, fishing for sympathy or perhaps investment. I became her anonymous lien holder. Through a shell company and a very discreet attorney, I purchased $2.6 million in liens against 7 commercial properties Victoria claimed to own, properties that were actually heavily mortgaged but that she presented to the family as her empire. She never knew. The paperwork listed only corporate entities. The monthly payments went to an address she never questioned. I wasn't just holding liens. I was her largest creditor. One missed payment, and I could foreclose on everything. I wasn't hiding. I was watching. And waiting. The call came on a Tuesday morning in November 2024. "Rachel, we need to have an estate planning meeting," my mother announced without preamble. "This weekend. Your father and I are finally settling Grandma's properties. Victoria has been patient long enough." "Patient?" I asked mildly. "She's been managing everything for 5 years without proper compensation," Mom continued. "We're transferring the remaining properties to her name. It's only fair." "I see. You'll still get something, of course. There's that small property in Boulder. We thought that would be appropriate for you." The small property was worth $380,000. Victoria was claiming assets worth over $6 million. "When's the meeting?" "Saturday. 2 o'clock. The attorney's office." I hung up and immediately called my own attorney, Marcus Chen, who'd been Grandma's attorney and was now mine. "They're moving forward," I said. "You want to stop this?" he asked. I thought about Grandma's words. "I want you to see who they really are when they think there are no consequences." "No," I said slowly. "Let it play out. But have all documentation ready. And Marcus? Prepare foreclosure paperwork for Victoria's 7 commercial properties. I want it ready to file." Saturday arrived cold and clear. The attorney's office was downtown Denver. All dark wood and leather chairs, the kind of space designed to make people feel the weight of money and legacy. My parents sat on one side of the conference table. Victoria beside them, perfectly styled in a designer suit that probably cost $3,000. Her husband Derek smirked from the corner. I sat alone on the other side. Small. Quiet. Dressed in jeans and a sweater because I'd never learned to perform success the way Victoria did. The estate attorney, not Marcus, but someone my parents had hired, cleared his throat. "Thank you all for coming. We're here to finalize the distribution of Dorothy Morrison's remaining estate properties." Finally, Victoria sighed dramatically. "I've been managing these properties for 5 years without proper title. It's been incredibly stressful." "You've done such an amazing job, honey," Mom gushed. Dad nodded. "Dorothy would be so proud." The attorney shuffled papers. "Yes, well. The proposal is to transfer the 10 remaining properties as follows: 7 to Victoria Morrison Shaw, 2 to Mr. and Mrs. Morrison, and 1, the smaller Boulder property, to Rachel Morrison." Victoria smiled. "That seems fair. Rachel never really contributed to the family business anyway." "Victoria has the expertise," Dad added. "She's built her own company. She knows what she's doing." I said nothing. Just watched. The attorney looked uncomfortable. "Ms. Morrison, Rachel, do you have any objections to this distribution?" "I have questions," I said quietly. Victoria rolled her eyes. "Of course you do." "These 10 properties," I continued, ignoring her. "Victoria has been managing them since 2019. Collecting rents. Handling maintenance." "Correct." "Correct," Victoria said impatiently. "Which is why I should have proper ownership." "And in those 5 years, how much revenue have these properties generated?" Victoria waved a hand. "I can provide detailed accounting." "I'm sure you can. I'm asking for an estimate." She paused, calculating. "Approximately $1.8 million in total rental income." I nodded slowly. "And where is that money?" "Reinvested in the properties, obviously. Maintenance, improvements, property management fees." $1.8 million in maintenance over 5 years. I asked. "That's $360,000 annually for 10 properties. That's $36,000 per property per year." These are older properties, Victoria said defensively. They require significant upkeep. I'm sure they do. I opened my laptop. So you won't mind if we review the actual accounting? Rachel, Mom interrupted sharply, this is unnecessary. Victoria has managed everything perfectly. Then the accounting will confirm that, I replied calmly. Victoria's face tightened. I don't have to justify anything to you. You've never worked a day in property management. You sit at home playing on your computer. You're the worthless disappointment who never worked a day, she suddenly declared, standing up. I built a real business. I have real expertise. These assets are mine. Dad stood as well. Your sister is right. You've contributed nothing to this family or these properties. Victoria deserves this. The attorney shifted uncomfortably. Perhaps we should all calm. No, Victoria cut him off. I'm done pretending Rachel has any say in this. She's a failure. She's always been a failure. Grandma felt sorry for her, but that doesn't mean she gets to question my management. I replied very quietly, understood. Then I pulled out my phone and dialed Marcus Chen. Marcus? It's Rachel. We discussed the foreclosure documentation. Initiate immediately on all 7 properties. The room went silent. What are you talking about? Victoria demanded. I held up one finger, still on the phone. Yes, file with the county by end of business today. Full foreclosure proceedings. All 7 commercial properties held by Victoria Morrison Shaw. Victoria's face went white. You can't, what are you? Her phone rang. Then Derek's phone. Then the office phone. Victoria grabbed her cell. Hello? Yes, this is, what? No, there must be some mistake. I ended my call and looked at her calmly. Her mortgage broker was screaming so loud I could hear him from across the table. Foreclosure notice? Who is Highland Property Holdings? You're $3 million in debt to them. I don't know what. Victoria's hand trembled. There's some mistake. Derek grabbed his phone. This is Derek Shaw. What do you mean foreclosure? Who authorized? Marcus Chen walked into the conference room. Good afternoon, he said pleasantly. I'm Marcus Chen, representing Highland Property Holdings, LLC. I have foreclosure documentation for 7 commercial properties currently titled to Victoria Morrison Shaw. He placed a folder on the table. Your client has been making minimum payments on $2.6 million in liens for the past 3 years. However, as of this morning, all liens have been called due. Full payment is required within 30 days, or the properties will be foreclosed and sold at auction. Victoria's face had gone from white to gray. This is insane. I don't even know who Highland Property Holdings is. You don't? Marcus asked mildly. He turned to me. Ms. Morrison, would you like to explain? I met Victoria's eyes. Highland Property Holdings is my company, I said quietly. I've been your anonymous lien holder for 3 years. I own $2.6 million in debt secured by your 7 commercial properties. The silence was absolute. You. Victoria whispered. That's impossible. You don't have that kind of money. You work from home doing, whatever. Cybersecurity consulting for 3 Fortune 500 companies and 2 government contractors, I said. I make approximately $485,000 annually. I also own 7 rental properties that generate $18,400 per month. Properties that Grandma deeded directly to me in March 2019. I slid my own folder across the table. Recorded quitclaim deeds. All 7 properties transferred to my name 5 years ago. Completely outside the will. I've owned them this entire time. Mom grabbed the documents. Her hands shook as she read them. This can't be legal. It's completely legal, Marcus confirmed. Mrs. Morrison used a direct deed transfer, recorded with Boulder County and Maricopa County. Rachel has owned these properties since March 15, 2019. They were never part of the estate you're distributing today. Dad's face turned red. Dorothy wouldn't, she couldn't. She did, I said simply. And she told me why. She wanted me to see who you all really were when you thought there were no consequences. I opened my laptop and turned it around. This is a forensic accounting report covering the 10 properties Victoria has been managing since 2019. Would you like to know what it found? Victoria stood up so fast her chair fell backward. You had no right. $340,000, I continued calmly. Embezzled over 5 years. Inflated contractor invoices that were never actually paid. Personal expenses coded as property maintenance. Rent payments that disappeared into personal accounts. I looked at the estate attorney. I have documentation of every transaction. Bank statements. Forged invoices. Everything. Marcus placed another folder on the table. We'll be filing a formal complaint with the district attorney's office. Real estate fraud. Embezzlement from an estate. The penalties are quite severe in Colorado. Victoria's phone rang again. She looked at it, her face crumbling. It's the bank, she whispered. They're calling the loans on 2 other properties. How did you? Your commercial properties were cross-collateralized, I explained. When the liens I hold go into foreclosure, it triggers default clauses on your other mortgages. You're about to lose everything. Derek grabbed Victoria's arm. We need to call our attorney. Now. Yes, I agreed. You probably should. Mom found her voice, shrill with panic. Rachel, you can't do this. She's your sister. My sister who called me a worthless disappointment 30 minutes ago, I said quietly. My sister who stole $340,000 from our grandmother's estate. My sister who claimed properties that were never hers while embezzling from the ones she was supposed to be managing. This is vindictive, Dad started. No, I interrupted. This is consequences. For 5 years, I've watched you worship Victoria's success while dismissing everything I accomplished. For 5 years, I've documented her theft while she paraded around as the responsible one. For 5 years, I've been patient. I stood up. Grandma gave me those 7 properties because she knew. She knew Victoria was stealing. She knew you'd all choose her over me regardless of the truth. She wanted me to have security you couldn't take away. I looked at Victoria, who was crying now, real tears, ugly and desperate. And she gave me something else, I continued softly. She gave me the power to choose what happens next. Marcus pulled out a 3rd folder. This contains 2 options. Option 1. Victoria immediately transfers management of all remaining estate properties to Rachel. She repays the $340,000 through a structured payment plan. We don't file criminal charges. The foreclosure proceedings continue, but we negotiate a repayment plan for the liens. What's option 2? Derek demanded. We file criminal charges today, Marcus said simply. The foreclosure proceeds immediately. Rachel takes possession of all 7 commercial properties within 60 days. Victoria faces up to 10 years in prison for real estate fraud and embezzlement. The room was silent except for Victoria's sobbing. You can't do this, Mom whispered. Please, Rachel. She's your sister. She is, I agreed. And I've just offered her a way out. More mercy than she ever showed me. I walked to the door, then paused. You have 72 hours to decide. After that, option 1 expires, and we proceed with option 2 automatically. Rachel, Dad started. 72 hours, I repeated. Marcus will handle all communications. Don't contact me directly. I left them there, Victoria sobbing, Derek frantically calling attorneys, my parents frozen in shock. Marcus caught up with me in the hallway. You know they'll take option 1, he said. I know. You're giving her an out. I'm giving her a chance, I corrected. More than she deserved. But Grandma didn't raise me to destroy people. She raised me to make strategic choices. And if they reject it? I smiled, thin and cold. Then they'll learn that underestimating quiet women is the most expensive mistake they'll ever make. 71 hours later, Marcus called. They accepted option 1. Derek pushed hard for it. Apparently, he had no idea about the embezzlement. He's furious with Victoria but wants to avoid criminal charges. Terms. Complete transfer of property management to you effective immediately. $340,000 repayment structured over 10 years with interest. Victoria is barred from any management role in the family properties. Your parents agreed to everything. And the Lien's renegotiated repayment plan. 15 years at 6.5% interest. If she makes payments on time, no foreclosure. If she misses even one payment, we foreclose immediately, I finished. Correct. I exhaled slowly. 5 years of patience. 5 years of documentation. 5 years of being invisible. One more thing, Marcus added. Your father wants to talk to you. No. Rachel. I gave them an out. I gave Victoria a path forward. But I'm done being their disappointing daughter. They made their choice every day for 28 years. I'm simply respecting that choice. Marcus was quiet for a moment. Your grandmother would be proud. I know. The properties transferred to my management within 2 weeks. The 10 from the estate, plus my original 7. 17 properties total, Grandma's entire legacy, now unified under my control. I hired a new property management company. Not Victoria's. Fired every contractor she'd been using who'd participated in the invoice fraud. Installed new systems, new accounting, new everything. Monthly revenue, $31,600 across all 17 properties. Annual revenue, $379,200. Plus my consulting income, $485,000. Total, $864,200 per year. Not bad for the worthless disappointment who never worked a day. Victoria makes her payments. Every month, exactly on time. I suspect Derek has taken control of their finances, which is probably wise. We don't speak. I see her at mandatory family events, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and we exist in the same space with cold civility. My parents tried to rebuild bridges. Apology calls. Dinner invitations. Attempts to explain that they didn't know or didn't realize, or were just trying to be fair. I declined them all. Not out of cruelty. Not even out of anger, really. Simply because I finally understood what Grandma had been trying to teach me. Some people will never see your value until you stop trying to prove it to them. I stopped trying. I built my life. Expanded my consulting business. Grew my property portfolio. Made strategic investments. Lived quietly. Succeeded loudly. Last month, I bought 2 more properties in Austin. Paid cash. This month, I'm closing on a small commercial building in Boulder. Victoria's first property, the one she was so proud of, is now mine. Foreclosed and purchased at auction when she defaulted on a separate loan. I didn't plan that. Didn't even know it was happening until my property manager called to tell me about the auction. Sometimes justice is deliberate. Sometimes it's just inevitable. I'm in Grandma's favorite coffee shop now, the one where we used to play chess on Sunday afternoons. I come here sometimes when I need to think. There's a young woman at the next table. Early 20s, maybe. On the phone with someone who's clearly criticizing her choices. I know I'm not as successful as my brother, she says quietly. I know I should probably get a real job. But I love what I'm doing, even if no one understands it. She hangs up, looking defeated. I debate for a moment, then walk over. Excuse me, I say. I couldn't help overhearing. Can I give you some advice my grandmother gave me? She looks up, surprised but curious. Sure. The world underestimates quiet women, I tell her. Let them. Underestimation is the most powerful strategic advantage you'll ever have. She blinks. That's actually really helpful. Thank you. I smile. One more thing, build something so undeniable they can't ignore it. But build it for yourself, not for them. Their recognition is irrelevant. Your success is inevitable. I leave before she can respond, but I see her straighten in her chair, something shifting in her expression. Grandma would have liked that. I pull out my phone and text Marcus, status on the Phoenix acquisition. His response comes immediately, closing in 3 weeks. $8.2 million. You're officially in 8-figure territory. I smile and order another coffee. 17 properties. $864,200 annual income. 8-figure net worth at 28. The worthless disappointment who never worked a day. Let them keep thinking that. Underestimation is, after all, the most powerful strategic advantage I'll ever have. And I learned from the best.